welcome everybody to the comic panel. I'm Cody.
I'm Talon.
I'm Jacob.
And I'm Shawenta.
And for those of you that are listening for the very first time, we are a bi-weekly radio show podcast, Comic Book Club, covering any and every comic and manga. Each episode, a co-host picks a book that follows a specific theme and reviews a book for each episode. Then we wrap up the theme with a post-mortem episode covering our opinions and favorite moments from each of the books. This is the second book review in our new theme of continuations. The first book was The Magic Order, Volume 2, by writer Mark Millar. For our second book, we are reviewing Something is Killing the Children, Volume 2, by writer James Tynion IV, with Werther Dell'Edera as illustrator and colored by Mikel Muerto, and World Design as the letterer. So, to jump into our review, a quick summary of Something is Killing the Children. In Volume 1, a boy named James and a group of his friends went into the woods on a dare, and all but James was killed by a mysterious force. James was blamed for the killings, and it turned out that dozens of children from that town had been found either missing or dead. Then a mysterious woman rolls into town. Erika Slaughter is her name. Erika sought out James and started asking him questions about what he saw. She knew about the situation with the other children. When she let out the fact that she was able to help, James was adamant that he was going to help her. She reluctantly allowed him to join her. When they found the cave where the monster nested, because this is a not just a animal creature or something else that is killing the children, but it is a monster. And so when they're in the cave where the monster nested, Erika discovered that the monster that they were hunting was an Oscuro-type. It was only after they defeated this monster that she discovered that it was a mother and that it had children. In Volume 2, the story continues with the child Oscuro-types, the brood, on the loose and looking for food, which of course the Oscuro-types only eat children. James is in the hospital after being injured in the cave. In the last volume, we learned that Erika is part of an organization called the House of Slaughter, which seeks to deal with these kinds of monster events. The house sends Erika's superior into town because they are angry that Erika has let this incident leak to the public. Her superior tries to get her to leave this case alone and let him cover it up. Erika nevertheless remains undaunted and tries to kill the Oscuro-types who have now found more food to feed on. Will Erika kill the monsters? How many more children will be killed before then? And so this book, this was my personal choice for this theme, and I chose it because when I looked back at all of the different books that we had covered, it was basically the one that I felt like I really enjoyed the most. And had a good reason to keep reading, I felt like, which would be that it felt natural to still follow the story. There was some other ones that I considered for sure, and it was it just didn't make as much sense. It felt more like we would have to be well, wait, what happened in this previous volume that we read again? This one, it was I had some amount of I'm not really remembering exactly what happened in the first volume, but I pretty quickly got caught back up to speed where I was like, oh yeah, this is what happened. I remember. So yeah, that's pretty much why I picked it. I just, and I think that James Tynion is a good writer. I was also considering potentially doing his other book that we've covered, Department of Truth, Volume 2. So yeah. What were all of the expectations going into this book from each of you?
I guess I can start because I did remember something in reading the second volume that I had forgotten. I had picked up like a collected version of like the first 4 volumes. So then I started reading the second. I'm like, wait, this is familiar. Did I like pick up the first one again? Is this no? No, we didn't read that for the episode. Oh no!
Did you get that in physical?
I had it in physical, and then I got it again digitally. And I'm like, man, this seems really familiar.
You're just drowning in comics.
Yeah. Funding Mr. Tynion.
I like his work well enough. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I didn't remember that much of the first one, but I don't remember it being complicated. It's like, monster, there's secrets, big bad group that's probably also suspicious that she's part of the House of Slaughter. And I think for this one, I kind of expected it to end a bit differently. I'll say that.
I can see that.
But yeah, I can see why you chose it as a continuation. Like, it's very much, it's clear cut that there needs to be some sort of solution to this problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't remember the first volume very much at all. But I do remember feeling like I enjoyed reading it. So I was just kind of like, all right, I'm going to have a good time with this. Kind of my expectation, I guess.
Yeah. And I was definitely expecting, I was very sure that this was going to be like just right where we left off, like we're going to learn more about the House of Slaughter, and more about how the monsters work and stuff like that. And, really more about Erika. I wasn't sure if like James, was going to be more of it, but I also didn't remember where we left off with him. It's kind of like he says, at the beginning, he says like, I thought that either you would show right back up or I'd never see you ever again. It's just like, yeah, I kind of thought that maybe he'd never see her ever again too. But yeah, so in one sentence, what did we each think of the volume overall?
Didn't like it. But that's to be expected. I didn't like the first one.
Okay.
Highly biased against the art.
Okay.
Didn't answer as many questions as I would have thought.
Yeah. Ended abruptly.
They really killed that guy. So quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, after talking all that smack, just like 2 panels.
They were like, here's this character. Oh man, this character might change. And they're like, dead. Maybe they're going to pull in the next volume. Like, actually, I only got slightly mauled.
Yeah. I'd say generally I liked it, but like pretty much each of your reactions are like very valid, like instantly. There's not like I disagree with this, like, yeah, no, I agree with all of that. And, obviously, like, I'm not, Shawenta, you said that you did not like it, and I am saying that I did like it, but definitely there is some judgment on the part of the art, so.
I I guess also, like, going back to my expectations, I expected them to end this problem and the town to have to recover and, like, and then we're just leaving. Like, oh man, we can't linger around. Sorry, kids. And, like, opening it up to, like, other problems elsewhere. Or, like, the bigger problem compared to this small problem. But, I don't know, it's kind of dragging out a little bit. And I don't feel like I understand the rules any better than I previously did.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I also thought that this problem would be solved by the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, let's really dig into what we liked and disliked about this this volume. Yeah, I think that first of all, like what's kind of being mentioned already is the abruptness of the ending.
Yeah, so they spend this whole time being like, all right, all these child stereotypes are out and about, and we got to stop them. And Erika's trying to figure out how to do that. And somehow and then they're now loose. They found a way to eat more children. And we get that for like 4 issues. And one more issue is like, okay, we figured out how to stop them, but not before we end the volume.
It's not even like about stopping them. They just like, we need to bait it. And then we'll, I guess, attack it because it's weak when it wants to feed. Or
Yeah,
it's not even weak, vulnerable. It's you can't attack it while it's not hungry, feeding.
It's not like corporeal.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because
it's not corporeal. Wait a second. Let's finish this sentence. It's not corporeal when
it's not eating. So
okay, so is it going to actually have to eat something?
Yeah. That's
how do we get? At least it's going. It has to attempt to take a bite because, like the whole. Okay. I think that what it's implying is that it has to be solid in order to take a bite because something that isn't solid cannot bite something.
It'll make it so corporeal when it believes it's gonna eat.
Yeah.
Okay. So I took that as like, whenever it's not eating, it's a shadow creature. But I think it makes more sense that they were saying, because it's a child, it's a shadow until it's like first blood.
No, I think like even the monster, even the mother that they killed in the last one, I'm pretty sure it was like they're sometimes corporeal and sometimes they aren't.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why we can't just fight it anywhere.
Interesting.
I don't know. Someone read the first volume and tell me.
No,
I did go back.
I'm pretty sure there was always food around when they were seen physically interacting with, like what's her name? The hunter lady.
Erika.
Oh, Erika.
Erika was like interacting with the monsters. There was always like a child there.
Yeah, it makes sense. Because it was found in the cave.
There's so many children everywhere, and they're all dying in the woods constantly. We're running out of kids in this town.
All the kids get it really bad.
Yeah.
Even in this one, like... Ugh.
Yeah. But yeah, so... ended abruptly. We also kind of talked about like the art kind of being a little bit not as fully formed as we might like. I mean, I'm definitely inserting my own opinion there, but just kind of like not always good looking, especially on like close up. I feel like
I actually think the art is better than the last one, but sometimes it would like try to show a long shot of like the monster doing something, and I'd always be like, what am I looking at? This is just a random shape to me. This means nothing, unfortunately. I think
That
they're
sounds
trying
like
to
that
make...
could be on purpose if it's just on the monster.
But the guy's like, oh my god, the monster, and like, I think it's supposed to be eating something. Like, I get the implication, kind of. I mean, it didn't help the digital version, like, cut up some of the long pages.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah,
Flip
I
the
mean,
page.
for mine, right, yeah. So I actually I read this a little bit earlier, and got it on Hoopla, and so for that one, it kept the long pages together, the 2-page spreads.
That helps immensely.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, still, like, I feel like, gosh, for instance, if you can, like, check out page 62, I think, it might be different in your version, but it's, like, right when the kid with the black hair gets, like, stabbed through at the bottom of the page.
I'm not seeing that. Unless you have a different... Is this where Tommy is in the woods? I think it's his name.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, I mean, I can just hold it up also.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, that just looked all, like, poorly done to me, you know, not in, like, a stylistic kind of way that I can really argue for, in my opinion, you know.
The only thing that is weird to me in that panel specifically is the fact that the kid's eyes look like salamander eyes. Like, and not pupils.
Yeah, his pupils are all stretched like that. I think that Tommy's face looks, like, really weird. I think that the kid right above that panel's face looks weird, and, like, the orientation of his hands, like, that's a weird angle to, like, this. Like, yeah.
He's, like, holding it flat, like, in front of his face.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that means. I think I mean, I can imagine he's like, you know, I don't know, stop with his arms.
Yeah, like I mean, in a cinematic kind of language, they are going for, like, the kid is in a position of, like, of not power, you know, like the monster is above him, you know, looking down at him, but still it's like it's too squished of a panel for me to like really read that and like
well it's such a dynamic pose for like, and then we're just so busy looking at his hands.
Yeah,
I don't think we need to look at his hands. If his hands were flat, like almost 2D next to him, they would get the same thing across. But also he's supposed to be looking at Tommy. He's not looking at the monster. True. So it's like, why is Tommy suddenly so much taller than him if that's the POV Tommy?
Especially because the panel above that is him falling down the little hill. You know, not falling down, but, you know, he's like, he's at a low angle. Yeah, he's sliding. So, like, he just stood up and now he's so tall. It's like, what? That doesn't make sense. And that's too much to imagine within that amount of gutter space in between the panels.
Yeah.
So it's jarring. And again, I think Tommy's face is really weird.
Well, even the next page, I don't know.
That one was also so weird.
The kid who's screaming?
Yeah. His face is just way too stretched out.
Well, even the way the landscape around them is stretched out. They're trying to show that the monsters are surrounding them.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of flatly bizarre.
Anyway,
I thought those guys were going to die. But no, we have enough time to have, like, conversations and then car rides. And then the sheriff is like, hey, who's screaming over there? And, like, scares away the monsters. I don't know, the kids still die though.
Yeah.
I will say that point when the little kid in the parking lot itself in front of everybody is like lifted up and dies, that was done pretty interesting.
Yeah, I remember liking that. That was good.
It was intense and gross. Yeah.
Agreed.
But it's unfortunate that the like children deaths before that feel kind of goofy because all the faces they're making at the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you don't see her face at all.
No.
Well, you see like a short shot of it, but like everybody like looking over, and she's just like above them.
Yeah,
ripped in
honestly,
half.
yeah. In every way, I feel like that page is so much more like better constructed than the other page that we were just analyzing. Like the way that like the parents are like shaded and stuff, the actual like anatomy and figure of the girl, the sheriff at the bottom, you know, and
Yeah, and
it all
his
feels
face is slightly obscured. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
good.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know why
and
we
it all-
had to have those kids in the woods die. Like, just do this one.
Mm-hmm.
Kids gotta learn.
Right, yeah. Yeah, honestly, yeah, it does feel like it was just kind of like done for filler in a way. Like this would just like ramp up the stakes and the tension of the story and it'd just be there, you know? Like maybe, like this is all the way in issue 10 though, so like on a month-to-month basis, I could maybe see...
You gotta have some kills.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And yet at the
So-
same time, you could also just squish it, or maybe not squish, as in the sense of like have more, but like get rid of stuff and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like get to the end faster.
Mm-hmm. Right. No.
Yeah, like I think like as affecting as it is, like to think about, like the identification of the children's bodies and like they gotta like bring them into the gym. Like I could have done with less of like the sheriff. Like I know more of what's going on, but I can't tell anybody because I've been threatened.
Mm-hmm.
And
Do you mean
that's, like,
every single issue?
every single interaction is, you know more than you're telling me. Yes, but I can't tell you. Oh,
Every
I'm
single
gonna find
character.
out.
When he like
Yeah.
even interviews the kid, is like, "Is it aliens?" And the kid's like, "No, maybe." Like, what does this lead to? The sheriff is just like, I knew it wasn't aliens."
Yeah.
Like, what special trick are we gonna do other than use child as bait? I think we're just gonna use child as bait.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, I think like I could definitely see different reactions to it, but it's definitely like kind of the ethos of Erika being like, yeah, I'm not a superhero. Like we don't know what we're doing really. We kind of do, but not really. You know, like we're just killing these things, but even the people that are in charge of me, they're not really interested in killing them. They're interested in people not finding out.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where before the monster's been taken care of, we're gonna kill witnesses. Because that's more pressing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which, like, yeah, I mean, honestly, it's like, yeah, if you want dead witnesses, then you just have to let these things go wild.
Oh, the order wants to kill witnesses.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the point where they're like,
Mhm.
it's, I mean, it might as well be something secret society.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We take care of monsters very badly and slowly. And we also kill witnesses.
Well, actually, we don't really take care of the monsters. We just make sure no one else knows that they're monsters.
I mean,
That
but
exists.
Erika's taking care of it, right?
Yeah, I mean...
But not on
yeah.
behalf of the
Mhm.
House of Slaughter.
No.
Yeah, there's definitely priority number 1 and priority number 2, you know?
It really, I feel like it undermines how powerful the House of Slaughter is. They're just, at every turn, Erika's just like, stop that, don't kill the witness. And then the guy dies immediately to the monster afterwards.
Yeah, that was like... What new character is going to show up in Volume 3 now, you know? Like, it's like... it feels weird to, like, add such a significant character, I guess. Like, you know, I mean...
Are we talking
just-
about her superior?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The guy who
He
likes
has
to
a
wear the
name,
same
right?
bandana as them.
Yeah, I think they all wear the same bandana
They
when
do.
they're out in the field. Yeah.
It's a really subtle bandana.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
monster teeth.
Right. Yeah. Using the garb of the enemy to, that's a
I-
thing.
Yeah.
It's just that thing again of I feel like it looks cool, but it doesn't feel substantially like it means anything.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we wear suits and a bandana that we've gotten all in the same design. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that ties in with art a little bit, where I'm like, this is interesting to look at, I guess. I don't feel like it means anything. If you're not going to tell me,
Mhm.
we wear this to signify the monster with it.
Yeah.
Is that what they said?
No. I
Oh,
wish.
okay. They give you understanding of the rules, right?
Anything. Please.
Yeah.
I'm begging. What did you inject Tommy with? Were you
Oh,
just gonna
yeah.
slit
yeah,
his
no.
throat afterwards?
I mean, I think so. That's like basically it.
You can
I
skip
do
the
agree.
one step. I think you can just grab him and do
Just
it.
give
Yeah.
him poison. Like,
No, yeah, I that was confusing. They didn't say it very well, but basically the guy says, "I was going to make it painless." That's what he injected him with, was basically a like numbing kind of like anesthetic.
Could have just given him a pill,
Yeah,
knock him out.
but right, and yeah, I think that's
And
why
he
he
probably
was, like, all
wouldn't have like
drowsy.
freaked out, right? He would have been like,
Yeah.
"Oh, thanks. I am scared. I could use a pill to calm down."
hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's a pretty universal life lesson to not take pills that random people offer you in the forest.
You need one. You were just attacked by a monster.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's not like he thinks he's hallucinating. He knows the monsters are real.
True.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so yeah, do I think that he could accurately trick Tommy into taking something? Yes. Do I think that it is his way of doing things?
Is it
No.
more aesthetic to just like stab you with a needle?
Well, yeah,
Pull
I
out
mean,
your knife.
yeah, he has like no regard for like humans, other than like abstractly for their lives, so he's just like, he knocked out that lady, the receptionist at the police station or whatever, and it's the same thing. It's like, yeah, there's probably a better way to do this, but I don't know, this is the fastest, most efficient way that I've been trained to do it. Damn.
I do this all the time. Works every time.
Yeah. Except for when sheriff gets in the way.
Except when Erika walks in and is like, "Hey, stop that."
Yeah. Is that who interrupts him? I almost said Erika, and then I was like,
I think it's Erika, because the sheriff's the one who interrupts with the monster.
yeah.
And then Erika's like, "Where is he?"
Mm-hmm.
My god. And then there's like that third agent. Is he like the FBI guy?
Oh, yeah. Who takes
The little
the
girl.
little girl.
No,
Yeah.
that's like the deputy, I think.
Yeah.
He's not. He's got to be. I think he's higher up than the sheriff, because the sheriff's like, nobody's
No.
telling me anything about what's going on.
No, he was the officer.
Okay.
So like in the last volume, he got knocked out by Tommy when he was looking at, because
Oh.
the sheriff told him to watch Erika and see what she was doing.
They're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I was just thinking about it. It feels kind of like unnecessary for Erika to break Tommy's arm at the beginning, too.
Yeah.
Hey man, she's just too cool for school. That'll teach him.
Mm-hmm. Stop
what did
following
it-
me.
What did it stop him from being able to do? Nothing really.
No.
Should have broke his leg. You're right.
Next time.
Or she should have said, You're lucky I didn't break your leg.
Also, they're like in a hospital, and
Oh yeah.
I guess his mom is too busy mourning her other child's loss to be like, how did you break your arm in the hospital?
That's true. She does not seem like a very present mother.
Different
Reasonably
priorities,
so.
I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what is the House of Slaughter gonna do now? Is this like Contagion? Are they gonna flatten the entire city? Because too many people know the truth now?
Yeah, because honestly, that is actually the biggest issue I think I have with like the abruptness to the ending, is that it feels like it just like stops right there, without any indication of like, oh, this is where we're going next, it's just like, oh, we're done. Which, like, because when I finished it, that was, like, basically the first thought I had was, I was like, usually when a volume ends, you get, like, kind of a good resolution plus a cliffhanger. This was just, like, I mean, I guess not even really a cliffhanger.
Monster got worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The monster killed somebody who maybe knew what they were doing, so we're back to where we were. There's monsters, and only Erika can stop them.
Well, they're
Right.
babies, and they're getting stronger, but they only fed enough for a few of them, so they're gonna go into a blood frenzy. Who knows what that means?
Well, it means killing children
It's
and adults.
Probably not good.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Can they kill adults? Like, why were they only
can.
killing children in the past?
Because that's the only ones they can eat. Can only
Why?
eat children. I don't know.
Who
Well,
knows?
because they do say that it's the monsters are created from the fears of adults. And
Oh
that
my
they
god, I
eat.
forgot that.
I thought it.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was because children believed it, so it was like the fear of children.
No. It's the fears of their parents.
Oh.
It's like
Yeah.
creepypasta.
I'm
like
gonna-
urban, what is it? All those movies that like try to make urban myths real, where they're like, because you believed strong enough, it became
Right.
real.
Yeah, it's a tulpa. That's what it's called.
I think it's that children believed it, because in the first volume it was adults don't see these monsters because they stop like believing in monsters, or they lose their, I don't know, special wonder. I can't remember how they said it. And then it was children who were like, oh no, you believed those monsters were real, and you can say you didn't believe it, but you still get spooked when something happens in the shadow.
I think that is why they can see them, but not why they exist in the first place. But I could be wrong. I'm not. I won't die on this hill, but I think that's how it is.
Okay.
Our next theme needs to be reread.
Actually, that's not a bad idea.
No.
Read more closely.
Take notes.
Anyway, though, so I do feel like we did learn some things about this, but also we it was pretty sparse and pretty like kind of like hidden in dialogue. You don't want it to like be like totally spoon fed to you like over and over again. Like, this is really important key information. Like, it feels to where it's like unnatural. But this was maybe a little bit too sparse and too under, lines that might be just
I will
whatever,
say, Yeah, we learn a little bit more about Erika. But yeah, the majority of this volume is just talking. Everybody's just talking and arguing with each other. And then they try to kidnap the kid for, like, bait.
Mm-hmm.
Then we talk it out and also kick each other's butts. Just knock them out. That's all we need.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. I mean, I definitely felt that way, especially with the first issue. I was like, gosh, this is like really just kind of wrapping up stuff that feels like it's not needed, you know?
Hmm.
And then, like, yeah, once we got a little bit further in, I was like, okay. Yeah. Also, I just realized, too, this volume is much shorter than volume 1, isn't it?
Yeah.
No.
It's
I was
like 10 pages
surprised, I
shorter.
think.
Oh, okay. No. It's the same amount of chapters. I forget
Okay.
how counting works, because it's 5 chapters in the first volume and 5 chapters in this one.
Oh. Well, so page-wise, it's not shorter either?
Wouldn't volume or issue 1's usually a little bit longer, isn't
Sometimes.
Do not
It
recall.
depends on the series.
it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Was there any more thoughts about the likes and dislikes on the writing and art?
You know, they saved the child at the end of the last issue from the cave. That was one remaining child. And she shows up in this volume and do nothing with her. They don't even use her as bait.
We might have as well have used her as bait. You're right. I agree, Talon. I agree that's weird that they like included her and then she just like exits stage right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was also like, yeah, were we going to do anything with the idea that she had empathy for the babies, for the monsters too? Like, that feels like a wrinkle that's like not fully explored, but I don't understand if they're going to explore it more. Or
Yeah,
if
is
that's supposed
Erika
to
gonna get to killing them, like almost kill them, and then she's like, oh my god, that one's crying.
be.
Sorry, but like that's all I can imagine. Like, how else would she know that she can feel any sort of empathy for these things that have like killed so many kids in front of her?
Yeah. Because, yeah, I don't know. I can see it like kind of becoming part of like a more like grand scheme kind of thing, especially if it's like they're born from the fears of like the parents and other adults, you know, and it's like, oh, well, you know, then like having empathy for them or something. But I don't know. That's like,
Is that
I don't
also
know.
like, is every single monster born that way, or is it just this specific type? Like,
Right.
and you know, Erika having like seen her parents die to something like this,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're gonna convince her to have empathy for any of them.
Right. But yeah, so
Who
that
knows?
does go back to like, why was the kid like, you know, why was that even her point of view? Or are we supposed to be all like, that is a childish point of view? Is that what we're supposed to take from that, you know? I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's not clear enough. So yeah, now gonna talk a little bit about our theme. In particular, our theme is continuations. So basically, thinking about, as far as a continuation, how does this volume compare to the last volume?
So I
The
mean, we
first one's
discussed
better.
that. Yeah, that's the thing always. Like, the first ones where they're introducing you to the world and it's just so full of possibility. And then the possibility kind of isn't going anywhere in the second one.
Mm-hmm. I kind of think that, I think you mentioned this, Shawinta, and you, Cody, as well, that the first volume felt more of like an arc. Like there was like a somewhat of a landing point.
They kind of solve things. It feels like.
Right. But then in this one, it's just there was no arc. It was just like, this is the situation, and it got a little bit worse. Or maybe not worse.
Escalation.
Yeah.
Which is usually, I think I got to like 20 pages before the ending or something. I'm like, I guess they're gonna fight it in these last 20 pages. And then they don't.
Yeah. I agree with what you guys are all saying, that it's like, definitely the first one felt better. I think that there's like still an element of like interest, but it's like it does feel like this volume was just like, this is some things that I need to set up, and so we're not really getting more connected to the characters that are important. We're not furthering the plot significantly enough over the course of 5 chapters. It's like, all right, yeah, this is stuff that's happening. It's raising the stakes technically,
but none of the character dynamics are that super interestingly expanded upon. Like, I guess the closest we get is like Erika just kind of telling about the death of her parents. Like, but I don't know. She's only doing it to get him to be bait, right?
Yeah, and also like it's like cool that we get to see it in like flashback form, and we also see like basically who will probably end up being her mentor in other flashbacks, although we also know that she's already dead. But other than that, we already kind of knew, I thought.
I was going to say,
volume,
I don't even know if
parents were killed.
I don't even know if it was said in the first volume, but I was just like, yeah, that. Like, what else would her backstory be? Like, the character who's like gloomy and against the system.
Yeah.
Fair.
What, her parents just going to be alive and happy somewhere, and she joined willingly?
Yeah. They could also be hunters.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, but it makes narrative sense with like James wanting to join up with her, and that's why I'm like, I didn't look back through Volume 1. I didn't read Volume 1 recently, but it just makes sense that she would allude to that fact, because
it's the closest we get to character bonding. It's not the worst, but everything all the info in this volume feels kind of like stuff we already knew, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. This just made me think of like you could argue new thing is that we get more of the people behind the house of slaughter. I guess 2 people. So,
I mean, I kind of knew that they like sucked. Like, I feel like we knew that already.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I will say I didn't know that they were just gonna immediately try to kill Tommy. I thought they were gonna wait a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I agree with you that we knew that they were going to suck. I don't think I knew why they were going to suck, like, in what way specifically, like, specifically that they are like not really concerned with like human casualty and more concerned with keeping the secret, which really feels like nobody's saying it yet, but they probably will in later volumes. That feels like it's maintaining the status quo in order to keep the House of Slaughter still going and necessary.
They're not even that good at that.
Yeah,
it feels like in this volume.
Yeah, they got a bunch of like pencil pushers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they send like one person to Erika, and they're like, "I hope it works out."
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's her superior, so of course he should be able to handle himself, right?
Kill everybody. That's the goal, right? Kill everybody.
Okay. Yeah. Get her off the case and tie up any loose ends. Not actually defeat the monster. Yeah. Yep. That was the plan.
What do you do then? Do you just let it roam into the farmland?
I think that's what they would have done, yeah.
I want to see that.
Which actually makes me question what is it they do.
He didn't really do anything other than like pester Erika.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that's like, it's like kind of how they establish the character a little bit, that like, he is like somewhat fond of Erika, they have like some connection based on like her mentor. That's
And he
not
has like
really...
a chip on his shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
I think, I don't know if it would actually be interesting, but this stood out to me when reading it, was that the head of the house was like, we learned our lesson from taking in strays, that being Erika.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so just interesting, like, what did she mean by that? I thought that just stood out to me.
Yeah, because that's I forgot about that part, that like basically they're saying that they'll have to kill James, like because he can't join the order, even if he wants to, because then he'll end up like Erika, whatever that means exactly, but probably a moody rebel that knows too much, but also we're not willing to kill, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Talon.
I would say, I guess, considering that Erika got brought into the house due to a tragedy, James, it would make sense that James would be in that similar position. I don't know if anyone else is in the house because of a tragedy like that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it would be a kind of twist, maybe a poorly founded one, but it seems like they're setting up that Erika's the only one, or at least the only one in recent memory, to join the House of Slaughter as essentially an illegitimate child, adoption,
as compared to their usual way of recruiting.
Yeah.
Hereditary? I don't know.
Yeah, it does kind of seem like it's probably through family, but it's unclear. That's also
because they were calling themselves like the House of Slaughter, right? So, and Erika is Erika Slaughter, so that would kind of imply it's something you kind of like the magic order you like marry into.
Probably.
I get the feeling, given all this that we are coming up with, I feel like Erika Slaughter isn't her real name. It might be Erika, but
yeah. I mean, it is her adopted real name, but not the one that she was born with. Yeah. Honestly, I just one more thing about this. I think that it would have been a little bit more satisfying, I think, if like the guy that was sent there to like deal with her mess, was more like positioned as like a familial, like brother and sister relationship, a sibling relationship. Because they don't establish that, but that would make him like sacrificing himself and dying, more emotionally. There.
Have a more emotional weight.
Yes.
Yeah, more emotional weight, exactly.
I agree.
It's like a way of implying a pre-existing bond, because they sure weren't going to put one on page.
Yeah.
Just kind of nag each other.
Okay, so our next question for the theme, do you feel like the previous volume set up, it set up the story well for a continuation? Basically, does it feel like this, like the first volume deserved to keep going?
I
think so.
Say, yeah.
Yeah, there was promise in that first book. If it's well followed up on, is up to debate, I suppose.
Yeah, it felt like they were going for something more episodic in some ways. I mean, I think we all kind of agreed that we thought we were going to move on from this town But I'm like, is this Twin Peaks now? Are we stuck here? Is this the important story?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I felt like there was an importance to both James and Erika as far as like main characters. I mean, obviously Tommy is there too, and he's important. But I feel less important.
Yes.
I love you said that. Obviously, he's here too.
Yeah, I don't know. And it does also seem important specifically with James that, like, you know, there must be some aspect of self-insert because he has the same first name as the writer.
Yeah.
I never even thought about that, but okay.
So yeah, that seems important, and like even if we move away from this town, James is probably going to end up following.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're setting up this character so much they gotta keep him around.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and I mean I agree with what else was being said though, that I think that there's definitely promise in the ending of the first volume where I was like, I think that's like actually probably most self-evident in the fact that I picked this book. Yeah.
Fair.
But yeah. Okay. And then also, does this volume set up well for like a continuation of the story?
I mean, I think we've discussed, I don't know if the word well is the right word, but it's definitely, it is a transition to a bigger climax is the hope, it seems like.
Right.
Are we just going to get a big old fight right at the beginning of the next volume?
Good question. Yeah, I mean, Jake, do you remember you read the print version that had 4 volumes?
I think it's a big fight. There's a big monster fight.
Just gonna bet on it.
Big monster fight.
Possibly another member of the House of Slaughter shows up, but I'm not 100% on that.
Just in the nick of time.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think that I definitely agree with you, Shawenta, that this is like very much a transitional volume, and we did kind of discuss that at length.
Yeah. I think with Shawenta, like, I don't know if it's set up well, but it did set up for a continuation. Whereas, like, you can tell more story at the end of it. But I guess it's like, does it necessarily make me want to continue the story? Not really.
Yeah.
I guess the House of Slaughter is the biggest draw for me.
Yeah. I think that it's fun enough to read that my interest is maintained, you know, like thinking of it kind of in the ways that I might watch like a TV show. You know, it's like, well, last few episodes were kind of nothing burgers, but I don't know, it's still kind of cool, so I'll keep going with it, you know.
It's like those couple episodes right before the season finale that don't actually accomplish anything. But the end's right there, so you got to keep watching.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah, I wonder. You know, this is kind of like I wonder sometimes what the thought process is for how issues get divided into books, because a lot of times in trades they'll do 6 issues per trade. And, you know, that will be 2 trades as, you know, the issues that came out in 1 year, 12 months of books. But this is split up into 5s. So I'm like, oh, is the big climax in issue 2 of volume 3? You know, when it gets to chapter 12. I don't know. But that would be a poor way to decide to break up the story into sets of 5 if you're writing the story in sets of 6.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, yeah, that wouldn't track because volume 1 ends in a way that we found was well done, you know.
Yeah.
And if issue 1 of this volume was tacked on to the end of that one, that would be weird.
Yes.
So, yeah, I guess that proves that theory wrong as I talked it out, but
Hey, sometimes you have to talk something out to arrive at a conclusion.
Yep.
yeah. I don't know, really I was just trying to give a reason why this maybe was not as satisfying as we wanted it to be, but
You guys just have to hold on.
yeah.
I definitely get the feeling that James Tynion wanted to linger in this story more than maybe we were expecting.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it must, like, I don't know. It seems that it continues to be popular, at least. You know, the series is still coming out in single issues. So there's something to it.
Yeah.
All right, so kind of rounding out our episode, has opinions of, like, as we've shared our opinions of this volume, and each of our perspectives, has anybody, like, kind of changed from, like, you know, where they started?
I guess I'll say that when we started, I was like, I don't have anything good about this I enjoyed, but I thought about like one part I enjoyed, so you know.
Yeah, I will say that I think that, like, really digging into what didn't work about this one, like, yeah, I wasn't as cognizant of those things. I definitely was, like, aware, you know, like, I was like, oh, not a lot happened in this, but, like, really digging down deep in, like, why, you know, I was like, oh, yeah, this wasn't as good as I, like, kind of maybe initially thought it was, just reading it.
Yeah, I didn't even think, like, to me going into the art, I didn't have any specifics of like, oh, this is what didn't work. It was just more like, it's not really my style, but
I
was like,
hate
oh, I
her
can see
one
what
big
it is.
eye. Sorry, Erika, but I hate your one big eye. It's really upsetting to me.
It's one big eye because her hair kind of parts over.
I
her
know,
eye.
I hate that. She just stares at people with it menacingly.
And what's funny is that it's like the size kind of varies with like
It
all the
does.
bags.
I did. Like, I noticed like certain panels where I'm like, her eye is so much bigger now. I hate it.
Well, they make a comment because that's actually a feature of Erika. It's that her eyes are.
I mean, yeah, they like make fun of her in the one part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make it any more unnerving. It's not even unnerving. I love unnerving character designs. It's just, like, put that away.
All right, Jake, did you have any shift in perspective?
Other than like kind of forgetting that I had read it, not really. I feel like I had the same takeaways where like the other volumes aren't as good as the first one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, cool.
We love starting a story.
Yeah, I think that will wrap up our review of Something is Killing the Children, Volume 2. If you liked this episode, be sure to follow us on Twitter at thecomicpanel1 and listen to more of us on Spotify. Our title is The Comic Panel Podcast. And be sure to tune in 2 weeks from now when we cover Invincible Volume 3. Until next time, I'm Cody.
I'm Taylon.
I'm Jacob.
And I'm Shawenta.
And we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.